could definitely see a world where there is no phone. Like everything is on one device.
Yeah.
And so then what?
What's up, y'all? Forever keep it rolling.
I know.
I love it.
Back another cold week.
Freezing.
Just patiently, or not even patiently, just waiting for this weather to finally get warm. So
I'm not patient about it.
No.
I'm so tired of the cold. It's actually snowing right now where we're at.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Didn't know that was going to happen.
Nope.
Until our meteorology friend actually told us that this morning.
Yeah, I know, but
Kyle's came through with the clutch checks.
I know. It got to a certain point where I thought it wasn't, and then
I don't know. Yeah,
but it's not that wet. Like it's,
dude.
it's not gonna. It rained a ton before it snowed. So
I know.
It's just,
My backyard's flooding. Just
it's
terrible.
It's not fun. But anyway, besides this gloomy weather, how's your week been?
It's been pretty good. I can't complain. I would say we had my work's annual, like, they call it a holiday party. I know it was in February, but good time. Say you were there, so
Yeah, it was
a lot of fun. It was a Vegas theme too, so it was really cool how they had like the fake money that you got when you walked through the door. Like you started with your $300 and you could gamble it and like try to earn more money to redeem for like prizes. What was it? There was a drone, a few other things.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. We got a little reckless though because we put it all on one color.
Well, the prizes were cool, but we were just like, it's more fun just to risk it all. Because right before we left,
Yeah.
we're like, let's just play it one more time and see if we can just either go big with like as many raffle tickets as possible, or
walk away and have a
Yeah.
good night.
So
Yeah,
it was
so we
fun.
lost it all.
Yeah, you get a lot more. I don't know. You get a little bit more ballsy when it's not real money.
Yeah, it wasn't real money, so it's like I didn't care. If that was my money, I don't think I would ever have the cojones to do that.
Heck no.
500 on black.
But
no
before
way.
we did that, we were up.
We
So,
were up for a while. But it was good. It was
Yeah.
good. Say our women went to a Taylor Swift party right across the street,
Yeah,
essentially.
basically it was. It's interesting how both parties were literally next door.
Next
in the
door.
same
They
place.
started like half hour after each other. But yeah, it was good. You?
Yeah, I'd say outside of that, just another chill week.
Yeah.
So, but it was fun to kind of end the week on that note. I feel like we don't get a ton of nights like that. Like we'll hang out at their house and stuff, but like we haven't had like a going out like bro night in a minute.
That's
So
for a long time, actually.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, a long time.
Was a lot
But
of
it was
fun.
cool, yeah, too. It was like we both had my mom watch both the kids, and they were easy. I thought it was hilarious that Oliver liked my dad more than
I
your
know.
mom. I was like for reference to that, I was like I had said before, my mom's like nannied, and she's a preschool teacher now. Like she loves kids love her. They wanted my dad.
That
Which
is
is
so
so funny.
I know we got back. It was probably like close to midnight, and he's just like passed out on your dad's chest on the couch, just watching TV.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
Oh man.
But outside of that, I've been seeing this product a lot, especially this past week.
Yeah.
I think it came out like 2 weeks ago, I want to say.
Mhm.
But this past week, I've just seen a ton of YouTube videos, things on like my Instagram.
Yeah, a lot of creators have been like trying to promote it or like talk about it. Just
People
'cause-
probably like, we haven't said it yet.
Yeah.
So the thing we're talking about is the Apple Vision Pro.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool what they're doing, but my biggest problem with it is the fact that it's $4,000.
Yeah. And I watched this one journalist who had it on for an entire day, and they wrote a story about it.
Yeah.
Saying that like you can tell it's a first generation product.
Yeah.
And they're like, we can see what they're doing and it's a cool idea, but there's so many bugs for that amount of money. Like it's gotta be hard.
But I think what scares me isn't necessarily the fact that that there's some issues with it. It's what's next, because there's always a product like this. Like think about the first iPhone, or I don't know, anything. Whenever this is kind of like a breakthrough product where you're wearing a computer and you're able to see these screens and see all these things, but you can still see the real world.
Yeah.
Like this isn't like virtual reality. I think it's what they call augmented reality.
Yeah, augmented.
So where it's like you can see both at the same time.
Yeah.
Which that's crazy to me, because the fact that they've already got, it's basically has the power of a computer.
Yeah.
Because you can literally like attach, like if you have your MacBook, you can use it as a second screen and it has the
can make
ability
your
to
entire
keep up.
vision.
Like people are editing like full videos with their Vision Pro as their screen. And like I know that doesn't have the actual computer in it because you're using the MacBook, but it's still pretty impressive.
It's wild. That kind of stuff scares me though too, is like, you know, I know it's augmented so you can still see what's going on, but there's going to be people like using those in like the grocery store, like stuff like that. And I know that like there's like a pinching motion to like click things. So you're going to see people walking around with these goggles on their head in the grocery store, like hitting their checklist. Like,
dude, they already have. Like, have you seen like?
Yeah,
there's videos like these of content creators, like literally in coffee shops, or like even there's a video I saw of someone was using it to cook. Like they had the YouTube video with like the instructions playing, and then they could also pick a second screen of a timer, and they can actually attach it to their oven to where when they turn their head,
it's
it
like
stays with the oven. So they turn back, they keep track of the timer while looking at the video while prepping. Like
crazy.
It's honestly cool. Like it's scary because I see how it can optimize your life.
Yeah.
But I think what's scary is when people become addicted to that type of thing because I'm not worried about this model. Yeah. I'm thinking like 10 years from now.
Yeah.
Where the equipment is basically like condensed and it's improved where it's basically like a pair of glasses.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you mentioned the iPhone earlier, like a revolutionary tech. Like from what a regular iPhone was to what it is now, it's like people's phones are one of the most addictive things like ever. And I know when the first iPhone came out, that was not what they thought was going to be going on.
Yeah. And it's just, I don't know, it's just, we're in an interesting age right now because you have this Apple Vision Pro which is coming out, which is kind of setting the tone for people really want this technology, and it could eventually progress to just wearing a pair of glasses, or who knows, like maybe years from now, contacts that
that show the screens and stuff like that.
And then you have these the Tesla cars, which are auto driving, which if you watch the Super Bowl, you saw the ads.
Oh my God, so much time. Jeez. Boycott Tesla. That was crazy.
Yeah, I did not know about that. I didn't know that they were having issues with...
I didn't know it was for only they say only highways, but then they don't disable it for other roads.
Which is insane to me. Like,
I'm not hitting on Tesla.
No.
But
it's just, I couldn't believe how, like, I didn't know that was even a thing. There was literally like kids
getting hit.
Blowing
past like the school bus. The school bus. That was the one that I remember seeing.
And then there's like if a road is like under construction and stuff like that, like Tesla doesn't know that.
Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't pick up on the stop signs. And then there's like, if a truck's on the side of the road, like, I don't know.
It's crazy.
It's nuts. But the point is I guess, too, with that is there's people who are wearing the Apple Vision Pro. While they're using Apple Vision Pro, they have their Tesla in auto drive. So they're literally just like doing this. Their car is self-driving. It's insane. And I know that like obviously with the Tesla cars having issues still, and Apple Vision Pro is this kind of more of a beta product.
Yeah.
But seeing these two things and people combining them and just the fact that they're both just exist is crazy to me, because I think it really is like a subtle glimpse into the future of what the world could look like.
I think too is like the way I think about this is like with the Apple Vision Pro, like it's going to progress and everyone's going to say this is the future. And then I think there's going to be a realization moment, just like there's with Tesla, that maybe we're just not there yet. Because like I know people are like, for like, I would say since like 2019, I felt like it was shoved down everyone. So it's like EVs are it.
Yeah.
Like that's what's going to be the future. And then all of a sudden people are like, well, maybe we're not there yet. Like, because I know combustion engines are making a huge comeback. But that's the same thing, I guess, with the Apple Vision Pro.
Yeah. I just kind of feel like it's going to come in a wave. Like,
yeah.
I think what's going to happen is people are going to have this like moral compass moment where it's like, we don't want to be this detached from reality. But like, as you've proven over the course of time, that convenience always wins.
Yeah.
To where like, I don't know, like even as simple as like how cars used to only be manual, and as cool as we think cars are manual, you're not going to, like most people are not going to have a manual vehicle, especially as their daily drivers.
Because it's an inconvenience.
It is. Like,
I love it, but I want that inconvenience every day of my life.
But so I'm saying, like, both of our main cars, like, I only have one car, but I don't know why I said main cars. Like, I have my car's not manual, even though I used to have a manual.
Yeah.
But it's just
hard to find one,
especially like as I don't know. It's just one small example, but I feel like we're gonna go through a wave of people are kind of gonna diss this Apple Vision Pro, but then once it becomes more condensed and more, I guess, attainable, I don't think people are gonna not want to have it just because of the way you can optimize your time. It's too convenient.
Yeah.
Like it's basically gonna make television screens obsolete.
Yeah.
At some point. Because you can just paste your television on the wall as big as you want.
Yeah, right in front of you. See, I'm curious too, with like me. I can only see out of one eye. Like I'm blind in one eye. Like how that would affect like me wearing those. Like, because I can't watch 3D movies. You know, like, well, I guess when we were kids, when it was the two colors, didn't work for me because I couldn't see. So like I'm curious how that works with someone who has like an impairment.
I don't know how the tech works because I think it's literally just like a digital screen.
Yeah.
And it tries to replicate like normal like vision. So I think it's like one big screen with like the eye holes, I guess.
Yeah.
The eye holes sound so stupid. All I think is Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Give me back my eye holes. But I don't know. We'd have to try go to Apple Store or something just see what works. But I would imagine it'd be fine because I know like with like the MetaQuest headsets.
Yeah.
That if you can see out of one eye, it's still fine. Like, because if you close one eye, you can still see like your peripheral vision with one eye. Like, it's not like there's like this block off point.
Interesting. It's like a continuous screen.
Yeah. Huh. So I think you'd be okay.
I mean, I don't think I'm gonna buy one.
I know.
I don't have $4,000 to drop.
I'm just thinking, but
I'd buy an old car for $4,000 before I bought that.
Yeah, that's what's crazy though.
Yeah.
Is that you can literally buy a car. There's a million things you could buy.
$4,000?
Yeah.
That's a brand new camera.
I know, dude. I know a lot of people are buying them because they're making content which will make them money.
Yeah.
So it's more of an investment. So I'm not like hating on people who do have it because like if I've seen so many people who like their views for their YouTube channel have skyrocketed, or at least the videos on the Vision Pro are like double and triple their average view count. Yeah. So it's crazy, man. But it's tough. It's a really tough topic for me because I see the appeal, but at the same time, I think what like a lot of people's issues when it comes to like stress and depression, a lot of that has to do with modern technology. Yeah,
I mean, I think it's like a cliche. Like, I think technology has been like our savior and our downfall at the exact same time. Like, we've had so many things that have come through like in new technology where you're like, holy crap, this is so cool. Like, this is going to change the way we live. And then also like that in the same breath, like the same thing could be the downfall of so many of our society.
Yeah, it's just a hard thing because in order to completely write off new technology, you basically aren't allowed to like anything.
Yeah.
Because technically anything we use today was new technology at one point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is he waking up?
He is waking up. Nope, he is awake. All right, take a quick break.
Yep. We're going to take a quick break because Oliver decided to wake up.
That was a short nap.
It was.
All right.
I guess with all that being said, a question I have for you about it, we talked about it obviously a little bit, but with the way, with all the tech that's kind of being introduced this past year and recently and what it all kind of could mean for the future, how do you feel about the technology individually, I guess? Like, how do you feel about the Vision Pro, auto-driving cars, just all the concept of that for just individually? And then how do you feel about that as a dad, how that could affect Amelia's life when she's kind of in high school, older?
Older. I mean, I feel like such an old man with like new technology, stuff like that. I think that like I have this weird thing that I hate driving cars with a lot of the new tech that's in it. Not even like Teslas or anything like that. I hate like adaptive cruise control, like where it'll slow you down. Mm-hmm. The things that like yell at you if you're like drifting out of lane, stuff like that. And I understand that there's safety features, but I think like there's going to be a wave of drivers that can't drive anything unless it's telling them how to do it. like I feel like a lot of people aren't learning to drive. Maybe I'm just being like a cynical old man, but like I feel like when you learn to do it all yourself, like that makes you better.
Yeah.
And I think like you're a worse driver when you're constantly being assisted by what you're driving instead of like actually you learning to control everything. I think that's just me being.
But how much will that matter if you don't have to drive at all anymore? Once cars are self-driving.
That's true, but I hope it never gets to that point. I love driving. Like especially like we talked about, we both prefer manuals. Like especially the S10, even with the old engine that was in it before the head gasket decided to start leaking, like I just enjoyed taking that everywhere because like I enjoyed, going through the gears, like being a part of it, like feeling like I'm doing something. I don't know. I think it's in like our parents' generations, then ours, and then obviously like the next, especially with our kids, like technology is advancing so quick. Like where we were 80 years ago to now is completely unrecognizable, like that kind of stuff. So it's like, I don't know, man. It's also scary how it's going so quickly. I don't care for EVs at the moment, but that's just because I love driving like something that I'm full control of. But I think it's going to be interesting with our kids is like, I do want to teach Amelia how to drive a manual, but that's going to be like a niche skill to drive like her dad's truck, and that'll be all it's used for. Because are there going to be any at that point? In like 10 years? Oh, I don't.
Probably. Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, but then the same thing with like the Apple Vision Pro. I talked about like I don't want my kid to have a cell phone until they're 12 because like I feel like so many kids are addicted to screens, and especially like seeing like Snapchat coming out. Like I know that came out when like we got out of high school and everything, but like how much that's used to like communicate with other people and things like that, and how a parent can just not see so much. And I feel like I now get why parents are a little overprotective with that, but like it's going to be hard when everybody has like a phone. Like all her friends would have a phone probably by the age of 10. And it's hard. Like it's hard to be like, no, you can't have one because I say so. Like I don't want to be Amelia's best friend. Like I want to be a continuous parent, but it's also, I don't want to be like, I hate my dad because he's so strict. Because I think too strict of parents,
but
create sneaky kids.
It's tough because I think about when I wanted my first cell phone, and it wasn't like, I wasn't asking for a cell phone because I just wanted one to be cool. Like it gets to a point where you need to have these base things in order to even like have friends. I know it sounds corny. I know your parents always say if they're your real friend, you don't need that. But the problem is you do, because you're not going to stay in touch.
Yeah, you can't communicate.
Same with social media. Like there's like it got to a point where you almost have to have social media. Now they're older, it's different because your circles are smaller. But when you're in that high school, middle school age, you don't know any better, and that's how you stay up to date. It's how you stay in touch. It's how you stay relevant.
Yeah,
I know it sounds corny, but as a 15-year-old or a 16-year-old, whatever age you are, like when you're a teenager, it's so important to stay relevant and just to know all these things. And I don't know, it's a tough line because I don't know how helpful it is to limit your kid from having these things, because it's going to happen eventually. Yeah. So, and I'm not saying just give your kid whatever they want, but I just mean there has to be some type of understanding of how this is going to affect your kids' mental well-being, because they're not able to connect with their peers.
Yeah.
Like that's where I kind of see it as it's hard, because when you get to a point where you're not able to connect with people around you, that affects you.
Yeah, I mean, especially in high school. I mean, that's all you want to do is connect and get to know people, and I don't want to say grow in popularity, but you want to be liked as a teenager.
Yeah, and just to be fair, I agree with you on like the limiting screens and stuff. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Just to see both sides of the conversation.
And it's like a hard thing. It's just like you're never gonna feel like you get it right. I feel like you're like you give it to them earlier, and you're gonna feel like, oh crap, now my kid's just addicted to a phone, or then you give it too late, and you're like, I'm making my kid miss out, or like I can't communicate with my kid, because when they're in middle school, it's like they're gonna want to go do things. They want to go hang out with their friends. They're gonna have sports or whatever, and like to be able to communicate with them would just absolutely change the way that like you go about your life.
Yeah.
So
it's tough because I know from personal experience that if your kid wants to do something, they're gonna find a way.
Yeah, so, and like that's the thing too is like they have a phone, you can talk to them or like get a hold of them, like,
or at least know where they're at.
Yeah, you know
location.
Yeah,
it's just there's pros and cons to both, so it's definitely a tough conversation.
Yeah,
but like I think to get back on the futuristic conversation, I think it's going to be even harder because when we were young, like the way out of not giving your kid a cell phone was to get them an iPod, was to get them a gaming console, or to get them like an iPad. Like there's so many alternatives to give them everything except that form of communication, so they can't just be texting their friends.
Yeah, but now all of that's within it.
Especially in the future, I can't imagine there even being an iPad, or there might not even be iPhones anymore. Like the Apple Vision Pro, 15 years from now,
just have glasses on.
That's just the standard, or is some type of device. Maybe it's glasses and a watch, or you never know. There's just you never know where it's going to go. But I just think it's definitely going to get to a point where everything is combining and it's simplifying things.
Yeah,
like TVs, everything is going to be our glasses, or it's I don't know. I could definitely see a world where there is no phone. Like everything is on one device.
Yeah.
And so then what? Where I don't know. It's
like how long would you tell your child no, or
especially
how long do you like resist change?
Yeah, it's just crazy. It's one of those things where it's either you have to hurt your child for a little bit, or you hurt them either way. I guess hurts them. It just depends on how it might, but it's also has something to do with your parenting too. Because if there's a way to get it across to them that this is why you're doing this, I don't know. It's kind of the same thing with like alcohol. Like I know some people's parents let them drink some. Not that it's saying it's right or wrong.
Yeah,
but like
controlled environment.
You're teaching them how to handle it appropriately versus like these kids who our parents are super strict, and the second that they're 21 or they go off to a party on themselves, they abuse it.
Yeah.
Because they don't know how to handle it. So I guess you can go both ways.
Yeah, that's true.
Where you, I don't know, teach them how to.
Yeah, it's all hard too because like everything's rapidly changing and we're still just learning how to become a parent.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is like I could ask for advice from, the previous generation, but there's like slight similarities, but like everything's growing so much quicker, I feel like. It was like when you and I were kids, like in the 90s, like computers were like barely a thing. Like not every house had one.
No.
To be on the internet, you couldn't use the phone, like dial up. It was super slow. It wasn't a convenience. Like
I still rode when I was like 9 or 10. I would ride my bike to my friend's house and see if they could play.
Yeah.
Like that was still a thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, but now it's like, that's not even like, I remember like.
You're a weirdo if you do that.
Yeah. Or like you just come to someone's house and you knock on the door to like talk to them.
It's like invasive.
Yeah. So it's like, it's a weird thing is like where we are, it's jumped so far in such a, short time. Like I feel like I'm still so young, but like so much has changed.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a super normal thing, was just to ride over and be like, yeah, what are you doing right now? Like,
it's what I'm saying. Or like if you're probably friends with who you live near. So
yeah,
you saw them out there in their backyard. And so you just kind of,
you went right over,
waved them down and like, hey, I'm coming over. Okay, cool.
Absolutely. Like the amount of times I remember as a kid going over to a friend who lived across the street to play basketball.
Yeah. Just
because I saw them in his driveway playing basketball. I was like, I'm gonna go do that.
Yeah.
Like that was it.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's just, it's why I think it's tough for us even as parents, because you try to use your childhood and your situation as a framework for how you can do what you liked and then not do what you didn't like.
Yeah.
But it's just like you said, with how fast the world's growing, I don't even think our experiences will apply for the most part. Like you say, even with phones and screens, like the situations that we went through of wanting a phone or needing this or that to be relevant or to just because we thought it was cool is not even relatable.
Yeah. Well, it's like iPad kids.
Yeah. Exactly.
That was not a problem for our parents. It's like there weren't screens like that.
Because that's what I'm saying. Like that was the problem, because when we wanted cell phones, they were like, you don't need a phone, because that was unheard of to them as a kid.
Yeah.
They'd say, we didn't need one when we grew up, so you don't need one.
Yeah. It was
but
like,
they didn't
it was
understand
only a landline.
That like if I didn't have a phone, I couldn't be friends with people.
Yeah.
Because I'd miss out on all these things. You only found out about stuff if someone texted to you in a group chat.
Yeah.
Or stuff like that. So
yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. It's definitely one of those conversations where I don't think there's ever gonna be a right or wrong answer.
No, it's just,
but it's
you choose how you want to do it and hope it turns out for the best. I think the biggest understanding is always going to be the why behind your reasoning. It's like explaining to a child. It's like, there's so many things I probably disagreed with my parents, but it's like I told you why they're doing that. Mm-hmm. It's like helps you understand more as an adult for sure.
Yeah, I think that's definitely my biggest takeaway from just everything and conversation today and from just history with my parents is just making it clear about we're doing this because it's for your best interest and explaining why it's in their best interest, and also not giving something because we think it could be bad, like doing research ourselves as parents and seeing why do they need this, why do they want this, like talking to my child instead of just saying no, like figuring out what if you have this, how is that going to make your life better,
or how will it impact it worse, kind of thing. Absolutely, the pros and cons, but figure it out as we go, I guess, is the big thing. But
I think overall I'm excited for what the future has to hold, even though I'm not really stoked about how the technology is making it harder for us to connect as people. But I definitely think it's cool to see that, to live in this era of technology.
I mean, everything's changing so quickly. We get to be on the forefront of it because we're still so young. Mm-hmm. So we'll see how it goes. Wow. Our second leg didn't last long either. He's up again.
He's up again, but I think we've pretty much covered
what we wanted to talk about today. So
it's just about the Apple Vision Pro and all the future tech is super interesting.
Yeah, good conversation.
So let us know what you guys think. If you're interested by this future tech, if you think it's scary, if you think it's stupid, if you think it won't even last, I'm definitely interested to hear what y'all think as well.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Let us know.
Yeah, we'll see you in the next episode.